Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel, and today we got a fun video, something I'm excited to share with y'all because I recently got the Mafex No Way Home Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and I wanted to recreate, with using some of the extra unmasked heads, I wanted to recreate his look when he first comes out of the portal. They joke about him having like a cool youth pastor outfit on, and I wanted to make that figure today. So I'm going to break down the parts I used to make that, and we're going to compare him to some of my other Spider-Man figures to kind of see how he stacks up. But yeah, here he is waving at us. Let me go ahead and lower that arm, stand him straight up, and we'll zoom in just a little. So this is using the smiling head sculpt, and I feel like this is just the perfect Tobey Maguire face likeness. You know, I was excited about the Mafex figure just because I felt like the unmasked heads were so good looking, and I felt like these heads were just way better than the Marvel Legends figure, which at the time I didn't think was a bad head sculpt, but these are great. So yeah, I wanted to give him his civilian, just regular outfit, but the thing is, with a lot of my Marvel Legends figures, all my civilians have like a button-down shirt or a dress shirt on. There's really not too many just like t-shirt options. But I saw someone in the Indiana Jones Adventure Series subreddit. He made a custom mutt from Crystal Skull, Shia LaBeouf's character. And he used a Star Wars Black Series indoor trooper, because basically underneath all the gear, once you kind of take those arms off, it's just a gray t-shirt underneath. So I was like, okay, that's the perfect base. That's what we're gonna do. And I was like, well, I want to use a dark bomber jacket look, and you know what? I'm gonna use the Stan Lee figure. Now, Stan Lee sacrificed his jacket and arms, but I threw together a whole nother kit bash so Stan Lee can stay intact. So, but in the movie, I can't really tell if he's got like a dark blue or black jacket. And even with the pants, it's hard to tell if those are black pants or like a dark gray. But I felt like this combination of a gray shirt, dark blue jacket, and black pants works really well. Now, I initially used the Shang-Chi legs, because with this Indoor Rebel Trooper, you have the torso and then you have the waist piece. You can just heat up and remove the legs, heat up and pull the arms out of the butterfly joints. I initially was using the Shang-Chi legs, Marvel Legends Shang-Chi legs on this figure, and they were just a little too thick, a little too big for the rest of the body. But then I saw someone in the Marvel Legends subreddit. I'm on Reddit. That's really the only social media I kind of do. I don't really do any other ones that much. But so I saw on the Marvel Legends subreddit, someone made a custom Andrew Garfield Peter Parker, with his like jacket and like with the skateboard and stuff. And they used the legs from a character from Shang-Chi. It was Zai Ling, his sister, used her legs, and I was like, oh, female legs, is that going to work? But they actually, proportion-wise, they just kind of give. Once you swap out the feet for sneakers, it just looks like, just skinny jeans or just a slim pair of pants, and it works really well. And so basically all I had to do was just paint the waist piece black, just heat and pop those on. And now we'll bring him in just a little bit closer. It is a little gappy. There's a little bit, but I mean, there's a lot of clearance for if you want to lift the legs up. But since it is all black, it kind of hides the gappiness a little because everything just kind of blends into the shadows. So those are the legs, and they were easy to put on. Now the arms were kind of the most difficult thing, because the pegs into those butterfly joints on the Rebel Trooper, it was really small, and then the pegs on the jacket arms themselves were really big. So I kind of used the Dremel to kind of open up that hole in the butterfly joints a little bit, grinded down the peg of the shoulder joints there, and basically now everything's held together by friction. I heated the body back up, stuck those arms on, and now they're just kind of staying there due to friction. Now, like I can rotate it all the way up, all the way down, move them out, but they're just like just crammed in there. So maybe over time it would eat away at the plastic if I was constantly moving those arms up and down. But I'm really not going to get too crazy with this figure. This is like I'm going to pick a pose and just have him on display that way. You know, every couple of months change the pose up. But that is basically how I put everything together. Now the last piece I need to mention is the neck. I was trying to find the right size neck peg to get everything to work, to snap in, and I just couldn't get, nothing that I had really worked. The Mafex pegs are really small pegs that kind of connect to a little plastic piece on the inside of the head there, and all the other Black Series pegs were just a little too big for that. So we're just using sticky tack. Got sticky tack inside the head, no peg on the neck, but it fits really well. And really, if you use force, that head can fit onto that neck anyway. So that's the way he looks. And speaking of heads, swapping heads, let me go ahead and put the stern expression on there. I got sticky tack in there ready to go. So there we go. There's Tobey Maguire, the stern face. But overall, I'm really happy with how this turned out. I'm glad I finally found a figure where I can just have a plain t-shirt, and I felt like all the other parts ended up working surprisingly well. Now, this head is smaller than the most Marvel Legends heads, so I felt like maybe there was a risk that the hands might look a little too big, but honestly they don't. And skin tone wise, you know, the neck of the Rebel Trooper pretty close to the head of this one, and then the Stan Lee hands pretty close as well. So I'm pretty happy with all the parts I used to make this work. So I'm gonna take a second, grab some of my other Spider-Man figures, and we'll start comparing him to other figures. All right, first up, we're going to compare him to the figure that the heads came with, and that's the Mafex No Way Home Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Now, this figure is kind of small. It's a little smaller than the rest of my Marvel Legends figures, but it's a great figure. I know it was a little, you know, wonky with the shoulders, and I tried to do some modding. I know a lot of people were doing a mod where you can expand the lats there, and I think that kind of helps, but I might have them a little too wide. I might need to go back and perfect that. But as you can see, they size up pretty well. This one's definitely a little taller, but I feel like it works. I think it works pretty well. Let me go ahead and bring in the other, my Marvel Legends Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Here he is. And as you can see, he actually sizes up really well here, about the same height. And honestly, I think for my display purposes, first off, I want to get some custom heads for both of these guys. I've seen some really good ones that make a more accurate mask to the original trilogy, but I do feel like the proportions of this guy does work for the older No Way Home Tobey, and then this guy is leaner, kind of stronger looking. I think he'll work for like just the original Spider-Man. Now I know in a vanilla pose this figure doesn't look that great, but I'm gonna have him in more dynamic stuff. While I got this guy out, let me go ahead and pop the head that the Marvel Legends came with so we can kind of compare that. All right, and here we go with the Tobey Maguire head. And honestly, I didn't think it was too bad, but just kind of comparing it to this guy right here, this likeness is on point. And I do feel like the unmasked head is just a little too big. I felt like the masked head kind of worked, but this one, the unmasked head is just a little too big. So let's go ahead and put our other Mafex head on there, kind of see what that looks like. All right, I had to pull the neck peg out to get that to work, but honestly, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I think the proportion-wise with the smaller head, I kind of like this figure a little bit better like that. Because, I mean, he's kind of got small hands. I feel like I like that. I kind of, we'll kind of mess around with that a little later, but I feel like that's a pretty good look for Tobey Maguire. So I feel like I got a place for all these guys just in a different spot on the shelf. But that's all the Tobey Maguire figures I have. Let's kind of compare Tom Holland and Andrew Garfield to this guy as well. So here's the No Way Home from the 3-pack final battle there of the Tom Holland Spider-Man, and I like the way this looks. I think technically in real life, Tobey Maguire and Tom Holland are both billed at 5'8", but I don't really take that too much into account, actors' real height. It kind of depends more on how large they're portrayed on screen. Like, for instance, Chris Evans is 6 foot even, but he plays a Captain America character who is at least 6'2" and built and is imposing over other people. Whereas Chris Hemsworth is actually 6'2", but he plays a Thor character who is at least 6'7". I mean, he's the size of an NBA player, maybe even taller than that. So I don't really go by actors' build height. I go by how they're framed in the movie. And it always seems like Tobey Maguire as the adult compared to Tom Holland as a teenager is just a little bit taller. So I feel like that works really well, this height difference. Now I have a civilian suited Peter Parker. And yeah, Tobey Maguire is still taller, and I think that looks really good compared to the Tom Holland. Now, like I was saying earlier, the Marvel Legends unmasked heads tend to be a little big, so that kind of throws the scale off because his head's so much bigger. But body-wise, I feel like that works really well too. So there we go. That's Tom Holland. Now I got one Andrew Garfield figure we'll go ahead and bring in. I did a little custom lab coat Andrew Garfield, and as you can see, he's a little bit bigger than Tobey Maguire, and I think that's definitely true to real life and how they're portrayed on screen. So I like the way these two look together, and now we can kind of recreate that scene in No Way Home where they're getting everything ready for the final battle. They're doing their little lab experiments, and yeah, so that's all my Spider-Man figures. You know what? Let's go ahead and bring everybody back out. We'll put Andrew here, Tom Holland there, and then we'll bring in a Spider-Man suit here, and then the Mafex suit here. And we'll center Tobey up just a little bit. But yeah, there we go. That is my custom civilian suited, cool youth pastor outfit, Tobey Maguire from No Way Home. I had a lot of fun putting this together, and I want to know what y'all's thoughts on this are. Do y'all like the part choices I used? Do you think I accomplished, the look correctly? And, if you got any questions about how I did this, or if you have any ideas on what you would have done differently, I want to hear all that in the comments below. I really appreciate it when y'all comment and engage on this channel. I think it's so cool that y'all do that. And I just want y'all to know that I want my YouTube channel to be a safe place, a safe community for us collectors. So if you got anything going on in your life and you just need someone to pray for you, you can leave a prayer request in the comments below. You don't just have to comment about the video. You can comment about what's going on in your life, because I read every comment, try to respond to every comment, and I will definitely be praying for you. So that's just my way to give back for y'all supporting by watching these videos, commenting, liking, subscribing, all that. I really appreciate it, and just thank y'all once again for tuning into this video and seeing my custom Tobey Maguire figure. I got some other customs in the works right now, and hopefully I'll be able to make some new videos soon. But once again, thank you guys for stopping by and supporting, and I can't wait to show you my next figure video, whatever it is. Maybe it's Marvel Legends or DC Multiverse, or maybe it'll be, another WWE figure. Either way, I can't wait to share it with y'all. But thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.